Shana Tova to everybody. How are y'all doing? And actually, we say, just on Yom Kippur, we say Gamar Chatima Tova. Can you say that? Gamar Chatima Tova. May you all be inscribed and sealed for a very good year. And so, I'd like to start though with Shana Tova. And I know I have some helpers. Maybe you want to come up and help just around here a little bit, because if you know the Lish Shana Tova, anybody who wants, I'm going to start singing it. And if anybody wants to come up and kind of help singing that, because I know some of you were in the video last time, you can. Lishana tova tikatevu, Lishana tova tikatevu. A good year, a sweet new year, we wish to you. Can I hear you guys? Lishana tova tikatevu, Lishana tova tikatevu. A good year, a sweet new year, we wish to you. Last time, Lishana Tova Tikatevu, Lishana Tova Tikatevu. A good year, a sweet new year, we wish to you. Shana Tova, Gamar Chatima Tova.
So, we are all here and on Zoom, and we are, those of us here are in what? What are we in? We're in a tent. And a long, long time ago, back in the days of the, what's this? What's this? Back in the days of the Torah, we also had a tent. The tent of meeting. And that time, the tent of meeting was a place where we would gather and we would get to connect with ourselves, and we would get to connect with each other, and we would get to connect with God. And so it is in this tent and on Zoom, which is part of our tent, that we get to connect with ourselves, and we get to connect with each other, and we get to connect with God. So to begin that, I'm going to ask everyone right now to sit up as tall as you can, but I'm going to ask those of you who have shorter legs to scoot up in your chairs so that you can touch the ground. However far you have to scoot up, online or here, scoot up so you can touch the ground and sit up straight. And close your eyes if you want. And take a deep breath in and hold it. And breathe out. Take another deep breath in. And breathe out, and you can wiggle a little bit as you breathe out. Take another deep breath in. And breathe out. And just check in with yourself, see how you're feeling. How's everyone feeling today? Tell me how you're feeling. What feelings are you feeling today? How does it feel to be here? Are we happy? Are we excited? Are we tired? All of the above? Excited to be here? Hungry maybe a little bit? I know it's still early to feel hungry. Yeah, all of those things. Yeah, I understand. So hungry a little bit. Okay, and now that we've checked in with ourselves and we've met ourselves a little bit, we spend time with ourselves. Now, all of us came with other people, whether we're in Zoom or whether we're here in the tent. So take a moment and check in with those that you came with. Maybe give them a hug, a cuddle, a kiss, maybe. Oh, there's some nice hugs going on. Now, let's extend it a little bit further. It's time to greet each other. Socially distanced, of course. I'm going to ask everyone to get up and at a nice distance, whatever you feel, greet each other. Shana Tova, Gamar Fatima Tova. Let's greet each other. On Zoom as well. Shana Tova, Kimmel family. Shana Tova, Andrew. So they would say that when we encountered and met each other and saw the divine in each person, that God would dwell between us and in us and among us. And so now we're ready to pray. So I'm going to invite everyone to stand. And I'm going to invite us to close our eyes again. And I'm going to invite us to sing Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And you can be seated. The words Adonai Sifatai Tiftach means open my lips, God, that my mouth may declare your praise. What are your hopes for this year? Take a moment for tefillah, to turn to God and share your hopes and dreams. Think about what are your hopes and dreams for this year? If you want, think about it for yourself, for others, for the world. Think about it, share it with God, share it with yourself, and if you want, share it with those with whom you came today. What are your hopes and dreams for this year? And would anyone like to share a hope or dream? Anyone want to share a hope or dream for this year? Sounds like we're just okay sharing it within our families. That's okay today. Okay. Now, it's time to take out a very big book. Can you take out a very big book? Not just like a book, but a really big book. Take it out. I want to see you take it out. Take out a really big book. Now, this book is the book of your life, the Sefer Chaim. Now, here's the day you were born. That was a really special day. Everyone was there full of love. The whole world was celebrating you. It was a really special day. And look, here's the day you learned how to walk. That was a really fun day. And ever since, your parents have been chasing you. And here's the day you said your first word. Do you remember what it was? Do your parents remember what it was? And you know what? Here are the pages of this past year. Let's look at these pages. What were some of the best things from this past year? Can you share with one another some of the best things from this past year? What were some of the best things from this past year? And when was the time in this past year you had a moment where you were your highest heart self? When was a time this past year you were your highest heart self? Share that with one another. When you were your highest heart self. Maybe you showed extra love to someone. You welcomed in a new person to your class. You showed extra patience when you were so tired. Now, let's go even deeper and go where we miss being our highest heart self. Teshuvah is hard work. These are some of the moments that we can grow the most when we look back at them and think about how we can do them differently to be closer to our highest heart selves. Perhaps there was a time when we didn't listen to mom and dad. Perhaps there was a time when we weren't so kind to our sister or our brother. Perhaps there was a time when we were really tired or hungry and we said some not so nice words or stumped out of the room or maybe raised our voice. Can you share a time when you weren't your highest heart self? It's hard to face it, but it's time to do that deep work. For times I didn't honor my intention to be calm, patient, compassionate, and kind. I'm sorry. For times I didn't honor my intention to respond rather than react. I'm sorry. For times I didn't honor my intention to be uplifting, encouraging, and inspiring. I'm sorry. For times I didn't honor my intention to listen to my body and treat it kindly. I'm sorry. For all these times, may I forgive myself and may I find forgiveness. That was hard work. You know what we deserve after doing hard work? Hugs. First, give yourself a hug. Now, give those in your family a hug. Perhaps a kiss. And let's make the world and pray for the world to have a little more wholeness by singing Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom Bimroma. Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. Ve'akol Yisrael. Ve'akol Yisrael. V'imru. Imru. Amen. That's why we have a cantor. So now we've come to the most exciting part of the service, the Torah service, which I call a dance party. It's time to dance with the Torah. Now, yep, you got it. It's time to shake your tushy. So I'm going to invite everyone to stand up. And you get to hear me sing again. Thank you. So here we go. We are dancing with the Torah, dancing fast and dancing slow. Hakafa, hakafa, haka, haka, hakafa, 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 ha, 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 hakafa. Now, what does it mean, hakafa? Does anyone know? And knowing that I have at least 3 rabbis in the room, does anyone know what hakafa means? I should at least see someone raising their hand. Anyone want to help me? Yes, what does hakafa mean? Okay, I'm going to turn to someone. Let's see. I see someone showing me what it means. I see someone showing me what it means. Someone's modeling it for us right now. It means turning. It means spinning. It means going around with a Torah. So it means moving, turning around with a Torah. It means dancing. It means a dance party. It means moving with a hoop, like a hula hoop. So it's time to dance. It's time to dance, dance, dance. I want to see everyone dancing. It's time to dance. It's time to dance, dance, dance. It's time to dance. It's time to dance, dance, dance. Everybody on the floor, tell me what you're waiting for. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's time to jump. It's time to jump, jump, jump. It's time to jump. It's time to jump, jump, jump. Everybody on the floor, tell me what you're waiting for. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's time to wiggle. It's time to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. It's time to wiggle. It's time to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. It's time to wiggle. It's time to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Everybody on the floor, tell me what you're waiting for. It's time to sit. It's time to sit, sit, sit. It's time to get comfy and cozy, 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 cozy. Everybody on the floor, tell me what you're waiting for. Rabbi.
Well, we kind of figured it's been a long time since you've seen a Torah, right? It's been even longer since you probably heard a Torah read from, just a little bit. So we're going to read near the end of the Torah from the book of Deuteronomy, where we're finding out that what God wants from us is not way up out in outer space, that you got to spend lots of money and be a space tourist to go up there and see what's happening. And it's not far, far over the sea that you have to go to Nepal and the top of Everest to see the top of the world. It's right here between us and our hearts and our minds. And so we're going to read some verses from the 30th chapter of Deuteronomy of Devarim. And to undress the Torah, I've asked Addie if she'll bring her mom and her brother and her grandparents up to help us undress the Torah. I'm just going to take towels off, which will make undressing it a little easier. It might help, Gary, if you hold the Torah up a little. Just lift it up from the bottom so it's easier. That's it. A little higher, Eddie. Thank you. So I'm going to ask my colleagues, Rabbi Shalom, Rabbi Boralski, if you'd be willing to do the Torah blessing. You can do it there. You want to come up, and I can pass. There's one mic over there. I can pass this mic over there. So we're here. Okay, trust me. Okay, cool. Anytime you guys are ready.
Ready?
Baruch Adonai Hamborah. Baruch Adonai Hamborah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Oh, I'll try to do it loudly and maybe this will pick some of the up. All right. Ki hamitzvah hazot asher anochi mitzavcha hayom lo nifleiti. And so this command with which I am commanding you to say, it's not far from you. Lo nifleiti mimcha v'lo rechokagi. And it's not way, way, way away. Lo vashamayim hi. It's not up in the heavens, more that you would say, V'yaleh lanu hashamayma, v'yichacheha v'yashmienu otavena asena. And it's not way up in the heavens. Someone's going to say, who's going to go all the way up into space, right? No one's going to be a space tourist, right? Okay, unless you're really, really rich, right? And from there, bring it back to us so we can hear it and we can do it. Lo me'ever liyam hi lemor. It's not far over the sea that you might say, Mi'avar lanu el ever hayam. Who's going to cross over the sea? V'yichacheha lanu v'yashmienu otavena asena. So that we can bring it back to us, so that we can hear it and we can do it. Ki karov elecha hadavar me'od. It is very close to you. V'picha v'levavacha lasoto. It's in your mouth and in your heart, so that you can do it. Ra'eh natati lefanecha hayom. Behold, this day I'm giving you et ha'chaim ve'et ha'tov. I'm giving you life and I'm giving you goodness. Ve'et ha'mavet ve'et ha'ra. And I'm giving you the other choice, which is not very nice. It's pretty yucky. Okay? Asher anochi mitzavcha hayom, which I command you this day, lahava et Adonai Elohecha, that you shall love the eternal your God, l'lechet b'darchav, to walk in God's ways, v'lishmor mitzvotav v'chukotav u'mishpatav, and to observe all of God's laws and commandments and ordinances, so that you may spread out and be blessed, so that the Eternal One will multiply you and bless you in the land which you are receiving as an inheritance. And so I'm going to ask Rabbi Sheller, Rabbi Browski, to go to the lesson after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
I want all of you to see. I'm going to lift this up. All of you are to stand up. I've asked Seth and his family to come up to dress the Torah. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are. Life to them that hold fast to it, all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Meusharetz Haimi Lamachazikim Bavitomkeha Meusha. Shalom, 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 shalom.
So, in the third book of the Torah, which is called Leviticus, So to say Leviticus, the first part of Leviticus is Lev, which means heart. Can you say Lev? It, kiss. Leviticus. So this story takes place based on a part of Leviticus. And like many good stories, it begins once upon a time. Once upon a time, the children of Israel were traveling to Israel, wandering in the desert for 40 years, and they sure did learn new things every day. Aaron, Moses' brother, was the Kohen Gadol. Now, what's a Kohen Gadol? A Kohen Gadol is someone who helps people feel close to their highest heart selves every single day. He does it by first making sure he is closest to his highest heart self so he can give wise advice. He would listen to his highest heart self. He would spend time in sacred space, places he felt close to nature, and mysteries of the world, otherwise known as Ruach Elohim, the presence, Shekhinah, God. He would make sure his body was clean and healthy and full of nutrients so that his head was clear and his body was ready to hear what his highest heart had to say. My job is to follow my highest heart self. Usually, each day, Aaron and his daughter, whose name was Ellie, who was his apprentice, would go to the tent of meeting and work together. Now, does anyone know what an apprentice is? What is an apprentice? Alex? Yes, an apprentice is someone young, like all of you, who's learning how to do the craft of whatever it is the person does so that they can do that too. So Ellie was learning to do what Aaron did. So they would go to the tent of meeting every day together. But this day, however, was special. It was Yom Kippur. And Aaron told Ellie, "You can't go with me today." "But why can't I go with you?" "Well, today I'm going behind the magic curtain." Now, Ellie asked the question that most children love to ask most, which is, why? "Well, today is the one day I go to the Holy of Holies to be alone." Join in with me. "Why?" "Because I'm going to be my highest heart self." "Why?" "So I can feel at peace." "Why?" "So I can feel guided what to do next." "Why?" "Because even I don't know what to do all the time." Wish I knew. And when that happens, I go by myself. I can quiet myself down enough to hear what I can do. Well, what is it like behind the curtain? Doesn't it get lonely? Aaron smiled with all the love in his eyes. It is very special, actually. And I think it's different for everyone. For me, it is very peaceful. It sounds like the waves at Lake Michigan. It smells like orange blossoms and fresh cut grass. It feels like warm, long hugs when your heart talks to my heart. Ellie felt very important. She knew she needed to do. She had to find her own holy space. She knew this was going to be a great adventure. And she ran. Can you show me yourself running? She ran, and she ran, and she ran. First, she ran to the desert, and she found a soft patch of sand. So she sat in the soft patch of sand, and she thought this was the perfect spot. So she sat there, closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and even though she closed her eyes, it was still too bright. So Ellie tried to go to the market because she thought there it wouldn't be too bright. She could sit under an awning at one of the stores. So she went there, sat under one of the awnings, closed her eyes, but it was too noisy. There were too many people talking. So she got up from there, thought, I know what to do. She went to the community garden. There she sat down. It was quiet. It wasn't too bright. It even smelled good. But the ground was bumpy. There were too many rocks. Rocks aren't comfy to sit on. So she decided to go home. And she was upset. And when you get upset, she slammed the door when she got home. She went into her room, slammed that door too, and fell into her bed. And then all of a sudden, she saw it. There was a curtain. I have my own curtain. And then she smelled it. She smelled her grandma's chocolate chip cookies. And then she heard it. Quiet. She could even hear the birds chirping. And she realized she had her own holy of holies. So she went and she closed the curtain and she smelled the chocolate chip cookies and closed her eyes and listened to the quiet and the birds. And she heard her heart. And she began to think about the heart of all of her family and the heart of her pets and the heart of everyone. And she thought about her day and she was grateful for all of it. And she prayed that everyone could feel these feelings of peace. And she was grateful. And I'm wondering if you all have a place that you can have as your own Holy of Holies. Do you have a special place? You do? Where is your special place? Can you share it with one another? What is your special place? Share it with the people you came with today. What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Now, some people, even when we can't get to that special place, like right now, we may not be at that special place, or maybe the temple is your special place, or maybe this tent is your special place. But even if it isn't, we can close our eyes, take a deep breath, and we can be there. Or perhaps wrap ourselves in a talit, or put the talit over our heads, and we can be there. And for some, prayer helps us get there. Now, before we close, there's two more things we need to do. One is bless each other. So if you are with your family today, please put your arms around one another. And we say to one another, repeat after me, be who you are, and may you be blessed in all that you are. And now, it's my pleasure to call up Alex one more time. We began our circle of Teshuvah on Rosh Hashanah. As our circle of Teshuvah closes on this day of Yom Kippur, we sound the Tekiah Gedolah to remember God always calls us to be our highest heart selves. So I'm going to ask everyone to rise. And please join with me as we chant the call for Tekiah Gedolah. You ready? Tekiah Gedolah. Gamar Chatima Tova. May this be a good year, a year where we are our best, highest heart selves as much of the time as we can be. Shana Tova, Gamar Chatima Tova. Shana Tova. Shana Tova, Eileen. Shana Tova, Raffensberger. Shana Tova, Kimmel family. Shana Tova, Brzezinski's. Shana Tova. Shana Tova, do 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 do. Shana Tova, do 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 do. Shana Tova, do 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 do. Thank you for all your help.